Welcome student to MJC Learning. Today we are going to study very interesting short story, The Cop and the Anthem from our English textbook, chapter number 1.3. So let's begin. The Cop and the Anthem by O. Henry is about a homeless man called Soapy who notices once in a cold night on his park bench that he has to try to do everything that is possible in order to get into a prison for 3 months to survive the winter. Okay, I will elaborate it in a next slide. So first of all, before proceeding with the chapter, The Cop and the Anthem, we will take some information about our author O. Henry. O. Henry, who born in 1862 and died in 1910. His birth name was William Sidney Potter. He born in September 11, 1862 during the Civil War in Greensboro, North Carolina. Only formal education received from his aunt, who taught him to love books. His uncle taught him to be a pharmacist. At age 20, he moved to Texas and started to write under his pen name O. Henry, said to come from a frequent calling of O. Henry, the family cat. In 1891, he became a teller at the First National Bank in Austin, Texas. In 1896, he was accused of embezzling money from the bank. He fled to New Orleans and later to Honduras, leaving behind his wife and young daughter. He learned that his wife was dying and returned to America, surrendered to police. Much debate over his guilt, but he was convicted and sentenced to 5 years in jail. In 1898, he was sent to penitentiary in Columbus, Ohio. Here, penitentiary meaning a jail or into the prison. In prison, he began writing short story to support his young daughter. He published 12 stories while in prison. He was released after 3 years for good behavior, emerged from prison as O. Henry to shield his identity. Moved to New York City in 1902, published over 300 short stories and gained worldwide acclaim. In 1906, he published a collection called The 4 Millions that included The Gift of Magi, The Skylight Room and The Green Door. One of his last story, The Ransom of Red Chief, is perhaps his best story known. The following is the message to his readers left on an Edison cylinder recording about 1908. O. Henry's short stories are famous for its unexpected ending as well as their exquisite conception. Let's expect today's learning about one of his great work after 20 years. So it was about our author O. Henry. We saw his work, his what was his family background and everything. Okay, how he did in his life. Now we'll go ahead to The Cop and the Anthem. First of all, we'll see characters. Here, the main protagonist character in this story is Soapy, and another character is young woman who knows Soapy, one umbrella man, police cops, restaurant workers. So there is not so many characters, very least characters are there, but the whole story is roaming around the Soapy. Okay. Now first of all, we'll talk about the Soapy. So when we are talking about the Soapy, the central character in a O. Henry story, The Cop and the Anthem, is homeless man in New York City. He did not have home. He was homeless and he thinks if he could only get himself arrested, he would be imprisoned in a Blackwell Island where he would be accused of housing warmth and the satisfaction of his basic needs. Okay. Okay, so see, we'll start the story as well as we'll talk about the Soapy. Here, the story was started with the sign of approaching winter were there. Birds had begun to fly south. People seemed to want new warm clothes. The dead leaves covered the ground, and this approaching winter made Soapy restless, as he was homeless person, no? He was restless in such a winter, and he had no home, no warm clothes, yet he hoped to have a comfortable lodging for a winter. He hoped to spend winter's 3 months in a prison on Blackwell Island. Here, children, Blackwell Island, where the Soapy was thinking to go. He was thinking that I am homeless and how I will survive in winter. If I could get present in Blackwell Island, then what will happen? At least I can have 3 months, comfortable 3 months. Okay, so all Soapy wanted to go to the prison for a 3 month of winter, where he would get a food, shelter and his kind of company. Okay, so where he wanted to go for the 3 month? He wanted to go in a Blackwell Island, which is the local jail in the New York City. Okay, so here he wanted to go, he wanted to get prison, that he can have a comfortable 3 months and he can have a good food, shelter over there. As he was little lazy person, okay, he was he was just thinking that I should get everything easily. He did not want to work hard and all. So that's why he wanted that this is the best idea, that I will do something that the police cop will arrest me and I will be put into the Blackwell Island into the prison, and I can have my 3 month over there, and this 3 month of winter will pass properly and I will have a good food and shelter and many kind of company over there. So this is the thinking of the Soapy, and from here the story is started. Now, so for getting arrested, what he did? He attempted so many times, and first attempt what he did? For the first plan was to have some good dinner at some fine restaurant. Then he would say that he had no money and the cop will arrest him and he would take in to a judge. The judge would send him to the prison for the 3 months, and he entered the restaurant. The best food and the best people in best clothes appeared here every evening. Unlucky, the head waiter saw his broken old shoes while he was entering the restaurant, and he quickly put him out. Okay, so first attempt he did that, he went to the restaurant, but as he entered, he was on gate only. The waiter saw him, that he saw his clothing and all, and he understood that he will not have a money. So from gate only he told him to go back. So his first attempt got failed, as no police cop arrested him. Okay, then second attempt, what he did? There was a shop with a wide glass window. Soapy took up a big stone and broke the glass. People came running, and there was a cop also. The Soapy admitted breaking the glass. Okay, Soapy admitted in front of the cop that I broke in the glass. Okay, but the cop's mind would not consider Soapy. Why? The man who break the glass do not stop here to talk to the cops. So they run away as fast as they can, and thus this plan of reaching the prison also failed. So first attempt got failed, where he tried in the restaurant. Secondly, he broke the glass, but then also he did not get arrested. The second attempt also get failure. Okay, so what he did? Okay, thirdly, he went to the another restaurant. He was able to get food over there. After that, he announced that he had no money, and he himself requested to waiter to call the cop. Instead, the waiter threw him out on the hard street outside. And thus this plan also reached to the prison did not work. So his third attempt also got failure. So you need to remember what he's doing. First he tried in the restaurant, second he broke the glass, thirdly again he tried in the restaurant to get, he did not pay the money and tried to get arrested, but again he was thrown out of the restaurant and he did not get arrested. Okay, now a fear caught Soapy. No cop would arrest him and he thought of something else to try. He came to the cop standing in front of the big theater and he began to shout as if he had too much to drink. Okay, and the cop turned his back on Soapy. He said to someone standing near him, "It's one of those college boy. He won't hurt anything. We have ordered to let them shout," and he was referring to the Soapy as a college boy. So that was the fourth attempt. He has started shouting in front of the police cop. Okay, but then also police cop did not arrest him as they considered him as a college boy who is enjoying, and in enjoyment only he is shouting. So that's why police cop did not arrest him. Okay, so his fourth attempt also not get successful and he did not get arrested. Okay, now see children, why he's trying to get arrested? Because he wanted to get prison that he can be imprisoned in the Blackwell Island. This is a local jail that he can have a food and shelter over there. Why? Because Soapy is the homeless person. He did not have shelter to stay anywhere. Got it? And it is a winter season where he want a shelter that he can spend his winters 3 months. So this is the reason why he is doing all these things. Now Soapy was getting more and more restless. In desperation, he took away the umbrella of a man buying a newspaper. The man followed Soapy. He asked Soapy to give him back his umbrella. Soapy asked him to call the cop standing at the corner. It turned out that the man himself had stolen the umbrella, and so he did not call the cop, and he offered to give it to Soapy, and Soapy threw away the umbrella. Okay, so this is what? This is the first in restaurant. After that he broke the glass. Again he tried in restaurant and then he started shouting. And this is the fifth attempt he did. What he did? He stolen the umbrella of one of the man. That if I will do that, he will call the police cop. But what happened? That man was himself has stolen that umbrella from someone else. So he was afraid that police cop, instead of arresting Soapy, he will arrest me. That's why he did not call police cop and he hand over that umbrella to the Soapy. So this attempt also unfortunately or fortunately get failure. Okay, and police cop did not arrest Soapy. Now Soapy gave up all hopes of being arrested that day and he began to move afterwards towards Madison Square. You need to remember this. Okay, he was hopeless that I tried so many times, but then also I did not get arrested. So he lost the hope and he was going toward the Madison Square. He was going home, although it was only a seat in the park. At a quiet corner he stopped, where here was his old childhood home. Sweet music came to the Soapy's ear and seemed to hold him there. He thought of his childhood days. He started thinking, reminding his childhood days over there in front of the church. In the church had mothers, flower, and high hopes. There were friends and clean thoughts, clean clothes. There was sudden and wonderful change in his soul. He saw how he had fallen. He saw a wasted time, his wrong desires, his dead hopes, and the lost power of his mind. He decided to fight to change his life. See children, when he was in front of the Madison Square, in front of the church, he just, one music was coming out of the church, and that is the anthem. Okay, you will understand over here the name of the chapter is the cop and the anthem. Okay, so that music is considered as the anthem, what is coming out of the church. And he was listening that, and when he was listening that, he was reminding his childhood days, that how how neat and clean soul he was having, how what his mother taught him and what he's doing. He's wasting his time, he's doing all the foolish thing to get arrested instead of doing hard work in his life to survive. Okay, so he decided to change himself. As he realized his fault, he decided to change his life. He wanted to make a man of himself again. There was still time, he was young enough. He would again find his old purpose in life. The sweet music had changed him. What was it? Sweet music that is coming out of the church, which is called anthem in this short story. The name of the short story is The Cop and the Anthem, that changed his life. He decided, because he realized his fault. He reminding his childhood days. He was remembering that how he was before. He decided to find work the very next day. He was very determined that now I will leave laziness, I will leave all this nonsense thing, and he was determined that I will find the work from the next day and I will survive. I will not get imprisoned. Okay, and the new thought had begun to take a firm hold on his mind. Okay, just then Soapy felt a hand on his arm. See children, what happened? He felt a one hand on his arm, and it was a cop. He asked Soapy what he was doing there, and full of his new strength, Soapy began to argue with him, and the cop took Soapy with him, and the next morning the judge sentenced him to the 3-month prison on a Blackwell Island. Oh, what a irony in the life of Soapy. Okay, so what happened when he decided to change his mind, when he decided to change his life, to do a hard work to survive. Okay, so what happened? Next morning, he argued with the cop, he sentenced for the imprisonment of 3 months. So many of time we expect something to happen, however the opposite happens. So life is ironical. Okay, so this is the end of the story. I told you now, Henry's stories always have an unexpected ending. So this is unexpected ending only, that when he wanted to get imprisoned and he tried so many bad things, but then also what happened? He did not get imprisoned, and when he decided that I should get a good life, I should work hard, I should not do all these things. Okay, so when he changed his mind, he determined to do something to survive. Then what happened? Due to because of argument, he got imprisoned for the 3 months. So this is the irony of life. When he did not want to get imprisoned, he got imprisoned. Now theme in this story is never give up, think before you act, and be careful of what you wish for. Okay, so this is the theme of this story. Next one, plot. Trying to go to jail so he can be fed and comfortable in winter time than on the street. Later on he felt guilty for trying to go to the jail. This is the plot. Now next one, irony in Soapy's life. Here two things you need to remember. He tried to get arrested and he was let off. He did not get arrested. But when he decided to be honest, he was arrested. So that is the irony in Soapy's life. Now, the last one, satire. You can say this short story is one of the satire. How? Although this story was written in a humorous style, in fact, it satirizes the society at the same time. The police who people think are ones to maintain justice are not ones to maintain justice. Whatever Soapy did, he wasn't caught as he had wished. But when he did nothing, he was caught by the police. Maybe the author complained about the American situation. He was realizing that time. He was, maybe he would be depicting that. He should take it as a reminder. We shouldn't have our society fall into that situation. This is what we should pay more attention to. Maybe he's trying to say that cops are never around when we need them. Isn't that the truth? Okay, so this is satire, you can say. And what the moral we are getting? The cop and the anthem theme of the dream, hopes and plan are moral we might get out of this story is that our goal and the dreams, our hopes and our plans for the future might play a big role in determining the course of our life. So that's why be careful about the planning, about the hopes and the dream what you are keeping, what you are doing. Why? Because these dreams, these hopes, that planning what you are doing, that play the very big role in determining your future life. So that's why be careful with that. Okay, now at last I want to just explain you in between the cop and the anthem what does this title mean. The once again I want to explain it properly. The cop is the title. It's of course the cop who arrests the soapy for his toitering and the doing all the works what he did in the story. And the anthem is the music being played by the organized inside and the little church. The cop is the soapy's nemesis and they represent the law, while the anthem represents the soapy's better nature and his desire to perform. So, based on the music that change the thinking of the soapy, and the cop who is representing the law as well as at the one time did not arrest and at another time when he wanted to change himself arrest the soapy. Okay, so this is the chapter. Hope you understood the chapter and do reading properly a full chapter, you will understand. Thank you so much.